Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show. Good morning. Jesse Montaño back here, not at the studio once again. We are barreling towards football season. Broncos season is right around the corner, so we're trying to get everything at that studio all buttoned up before the first regular season kickoff. Of course, Broncos kicking off the preseason this weekend, this Saturday. So we're trying to make sure we got everything all put together. Got a little bit of construction at the studio today, some hardware and software work going on in the studio. So I will be bringing you guys Guerilla Sports Daily right here in my home studio. And then Liv Moods will be bringing you guys Guerilla Sports Off Court at noon. Mark Kidsla from the Denver Post will be joining her all the way from Paris. He has been there pretty much for everything. He was at some of the quarterfinal basketball games the other day. He's been to a lot of different events. So he's going to have a lot of insight for Liv from Paris. He's going to be previewing Nikola Jokic, Team USA for the semifinals in men's basketball. We'll talk a little bit about Jokic and Jamal Murray, whose Olympics are done after disappointing and furthering the fuel for those who were saying he maybe shouldn't have been at the Olympics. Dealing with injuries for the Nuggets coming down the stretch, really struggled in the playoffs. A lot of that was attributed to the injuries. And Jamal Murray went to the Olympics to represent Canada. Hasn't gone very well for him, or didn't go very well for him, I should say. We'll talk about that as well. A fun USA upset in the men's 1,500-meter track and field final. So we'll talk about that as well. And Colorado's own Sophia Smith continues to light the Olympics on fire for Team USA women's soccer and just continues to represent Colorado so well. She helped push Team USA to the final. We will talk about that. But we are going to start, as it feels like we have a lot over the last week, with the NFL and specifically the Denver Broncos, as yesterday all teams were required to submit their unofficial depth charts going into week one of the preseason. And not a ton of surprises on there, but absolutely in the quarterback category. And it had a bunch of people online, Broncos fans, concerned, worried. Jarrett Stidham listed as the number one quarterback in the depth chart. Zach Wilson listed at number 2. And rookie Bo Nix listed at number 3, despite many of the reports being that Bo Nix is not only leading the way in the quarterback competition, but even starting to put some distance between himself and the other quarterbacks. I saw plenty of chatter this week that was, in the lead up to the unofficial depth chart coming out, saying, man, we may be heading towards something that's not really much of a controversy anymore, and we're talking more about who's going to be the backup. So you can imagine everyone's reaction when that depth chart comes out yesterday saying Bo Nix listed at 3. But let's get a little bit more context to this. After the depth chart comes out, Sean Payton takes to the podium at Dove Valley and points out to everyone, every rookie is listed last on the depth chart. If you go down by every position, even the ones that you can feel pretty confident about their starting status or, wherever they're going to fit, all rookies are listed last. Some are saying that this is actually a tactic because having them further down the depth chart, you're able to get them more reps in some of these preseason games. As we know, the longer preseason goes on, the less and less your starters actually play. Your week one starters don't play hardly at all. For most teams in that last week of preseason, most of them will get a quarter, maybe one half in a preseason game. So there's a lot of people that are saying this could actually just be a way for him to get Bo Nix more reps. If that's the case, I actually really like this move by Sean Payton. He's someone that I've been skeptical of since joining the Denver Broncos as kind of this, he's going to come in and fix it all after having, not coached for the previous couple of years, the way that he was not kicked out, but the way that he was kind of removed from the coaching situation before coming back in, I've been skeptical about how Sean Payton will actually be able to coach this next younger crop of players. We're hearing that as a big conversation around all sports. I've had many conversations with NHL coaches, personnel, things like that about the challenges of coaching the next generation, the Gen Z generation, and how you have to, you got to adjust your approach. You got to adjust the way you talk to them. And I was curious if an old school coach guy like Sean Payton was going to be capable of doing something like that. If he's doing something here where he's disguising his rookies that he feels good about as third string options to get them more reps to make sure they are ready come week 1 of the NFL season, I like it. I'm all for it, honestly. I think it's silly. I think preseason is silly, honestly, in general. I think all leagues should shorten that down to like a game, maybe 2. And I know the NFL is working in that direction. But I think it's silly how your top players, preseason is supposed to be about getting ready, getting geared up for the first game of whatever your respective sport, your respective league is, right? To make sure that you are at game speed come game 1 of the regular season. So I've always found it interesting how there is this philosophy of like, oh, well, veterans don't really need to get up to speed. It helps for them to get into like, a little bit of game action. For the NHL, a period or 2, a half, if you're talking the NFL. And I think that can do a disservice in these types of situations where, if you were outright listing Bo Nix as the starter and maybe starting to pull back on those reps a little bit, that could be putting him in a situation where he isn't as prepared as he maybe needs to be heading into week 1. So if the tactic truly is here, list your rookies at 3, even the ones that you like to be starters. We're going to get them more reps. And by week 1, they are going to be fully ready to go. I'm in for it. I don't buy into, injuries and are they playing too much? You're obviously not going to play Bo Nix in every, quarter of every preseason game. But if you want him to start as a young guy, if you can get him some more reps, I think that's the right move, and good on Sean Payton for doing it. Now, to me, what was maybe a little bit surprising was Jarrett Stidham listed at 1. I don't think Zach Wilson, none of what we're hearing. Obviously, I'm not down at Dove Valley every day, but Brandon Cristal, Nate Jackson are. And talking with them, like, I don't think Zach Wilson has looked bad. Maybe this is something that, look, we did a poll for Guerilla Sports last week. It showed most people would prefer Zach Wilson at the number 2 spot. Now, that's, of course, just Bronco fans, but, that tells you a little bit something about how he's playing. And you do wonder how much of this is Jarrett Stidham getting not necessarily the benefit of the doubt, but this is that you're the incumbent. You kind of get the extra leg up just naturally. It'll be interesting to see how they handle Stidham here. Keep in mind, Jarrett Stidham was Sean Payton's guy when he got to town last year. There was a lot of conversation in season that Sean Payton was just itching to replace Russell Wilson with Jarrett Stidham. So again, I'm just interested to see what type of grace he's actually going to get. And I also should say, if Sean Payton isn't listing rookies at 3 regardless, and he truly does view Jarrett Stidham as the starter, I don't think that's a completely unrealistic scenario. I absolutely, again, he went out of his way to get him into the lineup last year ahead of Russell Wilson. So don't get me wrong. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that it's impossible that he does view Bo Nix as not the starter. I don't necessarily know if you're going to put him behind Zach Wilson, but as not the starter. And, that's something that in conversations that I've had with folks, I've kind of advocated for. I don't get what the hurry is to get Bo Nix under center on a team that, look, I know there's some optimists out there. I know there's some people that think that this team could be second in the division. And those are people that know, that are more dialed into the Broncos than me. I just know, for working in this industry and following this team and speaking with a lot of people over the years who really follow this team closely, there's always a lot of optimism around the Broncos. There's always this expectation that they're going to overachieve and outperform the expectations. They're better than people say they are. They're not getting the credit they deserve. We'll see. Vegas, a lot of pundits all have this as a bad football team. I haven't seen the rush to throw Bo Nix out there behind what very possibly could be a bad football team. You have two options in front of him that I think if you're properly going through this process and what is so obvious that has needed to happen in Denver for years, a rebuild, I think at bare minimum, you should let Bo Nix sit behind someone and watch Stidham or Wilson go out there and be an NFL quarterback for a few weeks. Learn the habits. Watch how fast things are, at regular season speed. Understand, how quickly things are being called. Like, it's a different beast. You can practice, you can prepare, you can think you're ready. You can have all kinds of great stats from college or, wherever you're coming from. When you get to this level of professional, it is a different speed. It's a different gear, and it takes a different level of mental sharpness. And I don't see any harm in putting Bo Nix on the sideline for a bare minimum, or I guess not a bare minimum, for at least a few weeks. And then if you really want to get him into game action, sure, week 4, week 5, you can get him in there. But I think you went out and added Zach Wilson. You have Jarrett Stidham, who was brought in very intentionally. Use him. Why wouldn't you use him? What do you have to lose? And all it does is slightly mitigate the risk that you're going to run Bo Nix out there and let him get his head kicked in. No one has ever been worse for overdeveloping. No player has ever not panned out because they were too ready. It's fine. So while I'm assuming this whole conversation was supposed to be about rookies being third on the depth chart intentionally, if that's the case, look, I'm still in favor of it. You're using your resources to get them, additional reps. But I also don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if Bo Nix wasn't the week 1 starter. We're going to get our first look at him this weekend, this Saturday. We're going to see how Bo Nix does in game action. And we're going to see if he needs more reps in game action or should truly be listed third, or if this is all just kind of a ruse and he's going to be the starter week 1. And this is just, an attempt to get him some extra game reps. We're going to keep an eye on that one heading into Saturday. And I'm sure we're going to get a little bit more information between now and then. Of course, we will have Guerilla Sports Off Field on Friday to walk you guys through everything, what to expect heading into the game on Saturday. Let me know in the chat, though, guys, who do you want to see as the week 1 starter? Again, for me, I actually think it's Zach Wilson. You went out, you brought him in. He kind of comes from a similar situation as Bo Nix, first round pick, a lot of expectations. So I actually think that that's the right way to do it. If Bo still needs work, then steady Stidham week 1 against the Hawks. Again, I'm with you. Steady, I think, is the right word to use there. You have these quarterbacks who have experience, who have been in the league before, can be a little bit more of a steady, calming presence, even if they're not your best option to win. Let's wait and find out what type of team you have here. Again, like I said, if this team is as bad as a lot of pundits and Vegas and the betting odds think they're going to be, why throw Bo Nix out there right away to just go get the crap kicked out of him? Let's see what you got a bit here. Let's move on. Sticking with the NFL, kind of anecdotally, the Arizona Coyotes. Oh my gosh, guys. I'm so bad in hockey mode. It's crazy. I was talking all day yesterday about how much I miss the NHL season, and it's crazy and it's super busy and it's hectic, but oh my goodness, I just can't wait to get back to it. I think my wife is probably excited for the hockey season to come back too. She was asking me the other day, she's like, so when's the next road trip? I got kind of used to you not being around the house. When's that coming up? So yeah, we're ready for the hockey season to start. Not the Arizona Coyotes, the Arizona Cardinals have released 50 plus new food options, including this absolute monstrosity. The cotton candy burrito that you can stuff with candy cane, other cereals, chocolate. Ugh, I got a cavity just talking to you guys about this. I love that they are trying to have fun with it. A chicken and waffle sandwich, flamin' hot Cheeto chicken tenders, a nutty Asian salad, meatball hoagie on a stick, vegan vegetable summer rolls, new nachos, new vegan and gluten-free pizza, the cotton candy burrito, vegan buffalo chicken bites, big Arizona chicken taquito. They've released a new kind of gourmet menu. And I'm all for that. I think fans pay a lot of money to go to these games, and then you pay a lot of money to eat and drink at these games. And I just think that you should be providing them with some quality options. It has never really seemed fair to me that you go to the arena, you pay $18 for chicken tenders, and they're bad chicken tenders. It's a bad hamburger. It's cheap. I always love a stadium or ballpark hot dog, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. But it's just, if you're paying as much money as fans are paying to go to these games, I think it is good on the arenas to have different high quality food options. And you're seeing that be a trend around sports, in that, as these new arenas are being cropped up, a big emphasis is being put on making sure that the fan experience is good. This isn't just a pretty arena. This isn't just, the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. The architecture is great. The roof opens really cool. That's not enough anymore. You got to have the entertainment district surrounding. You got to have quality food options. You got to have seats that aren't just seats. That there's an experience that goes along with, with some of your sections. There's a new higher bar being set by fans at sporting events. And I love to see teams rising to the occasion. Again, I think this candy cane burrito is absolutely disgusting. But it'll be available in multiple sections at, I don't know, is it still University of Phoenix Stadium? State Farm Stadium down in Arizona. But hey, look, everyone who works with me knows I am a big, let's try it. And if it works, great, let's run with it. If it doesn't work, that's fine. We'll just never do that again. And I think the Arizona Cardinals have that mentality with this menu. But again, as someone who, my wife is vegetarian, I love to see arenas and stadiums offering options for people with, not dietary requirements. But I guess dietary requirements. Like, there's a lot of, gluten-free and vegan stuff on here. I know before I really started doing this job, going to events with my wife, it was always tough because we'd show up hungry and she'd be like, well, I guess I'll just get some nachos, or, maybe we'll get a thing of popcorn, whatever. It's nice to see that there's other options available now. And it's becoming an increasing trend. Okay. I think that's all I got for NFL. I can't look at that cotton candy burrito anymore. Like I said, I'm getting cavities while we talk about it. Let's move on over to the Olympics, and we'll kind of move through some of this, not quickly, but we'll get a few topics here into just the next few minutes. Colorado's own Sophia Smith pushes Team USA to the gold medal match in a 1-0 victory, coming in extra time against Germany, and Team USA will play for the gold medal. And look, we have talked throughout these Olympics about the girls from Colorado and the impact that they have had on Team USA and how much they have driven the bus. This has been, we talked before the Olympics started about how I think it's different. The Olympics are different in the US. This is such a big country. And in talking with a couple of the people that we have working at Guerilla that are from Europe or different parts overseas, I think that's the number one thing that maybe people don't understand, is just how big the US is. And it's not like being in the Netherlands or even in, France, where it is, much smaller, square mileage and population and things like that. That I think maybe we can sometimes, we don't have that same attachment to the athletes, because it's like, oh yeah, they're from the US, but they're from New York, or they're from Florida. Doesn't really resonate with us, maybe in the same way that you guys hear me talk a lot about Jay. He's from the Netherlands. Watching their athletes perform and win, that's got a very different, it resonates very differently. Everyone from the Netherlands is from a much closer together place than we are here in the US. And what's been so fun about this US women's team is that there's been 3 girls on that team who have been massive key contributors. So Sophia Smith, Mallory Swanson, and Lindsey Horan, that are all from Colorado specifically. Sophia Smith leads Team USA, or is tied for the lead with Team USA with 3 goals. Mallory Swanson with 3 goals. Lindsey Horan 2 assists. Sophia Smith 2 assists. These have been the most productive players for Team USA, a team that has a chance to win a gold medal. And they are from Colorado. It's been a ton of fun for us in the office just to talk about it. And they will be taking on Brazil this Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern. USA, Brazil, gold medal match, women's soccer. Sophia Smith, Mallory Swanson, and Lindsey Horan going for gold to bring back here to Colorado. Just awesome, and awesome to see Sophia Smith continue to just grow the legend of her and these outstanding girls from Colorado for Team USA. We will be dialed into that one, I know for sure, at my house. This is the 3rd time I brought up my wife today. She's a big soccer gal, so I know we'll be dialed in to that one, cheering on the girls from Colorado. Let's move on over to Jamal Murray and Team Canada. I wish we had like the sound effects. Jay, can we work on getting those sound effects for me? Jamal Murray finishes the Olympics 6 points per game, 41.2% from 2, and shooting just 14.3% from beyond the arc, going only 2 for 14 from 3. Look, I get it. I get it. The Olympics are a different beast. The opportunity to represent your country, I think, means something to athletes at this level that if you aren't an athlete at that level, it's maybe hard to resonate with. But especially in Jamal Murray's case, where you're from a nation like Canada that isn't notorious for turning out, high-end basketball and NBA players. You've gone through different injuries in your career that have kept you from being able to always represent them on the national stage. And Canada felt they had a team that could make some noise, that could medal. If you remember going into the Olympics after a couple of exhibition games, Canada was even, kind of talking the shit that they were going to knock off Team USA, the runaway favorite for gold. And Canada never really showed up the way they needed to. And in part, I'm not sitting here pointing fingers at one individual, but you needed bigger performances from a guy like Jamal Murray. And it is now starting to lead to the question of, there's a lot of people online saying, is Jamal Murray as good as maybe we give him credit for constantly all the time? Or are we seeing that he is a beneficiary of Nikola Jokic? Or was Liv Moods right? Was D-Mac right? Should he not have gone? Those types of numbers almost make you think that he was injured. He's still injured. Averaging 6 points per game. Less than 15% from three. I don't know. That is one of those things for me where I get it. Representing your country means something different. Going for Olympic gold means something different. But this feels like if he is still injured, you've got a responsibility back in Denver, back to your home team. And you're now just about 5-ish, 6-ish weeks away from the open of NBA training camps. If Jamal Murray comes back and we find out he's not ready, he's still dealing with something lingering, plus you tack on the quality of the performance, I think there's going to be a lot of questions being asked. And I think they're going to be legitimate. And I think that if you're Jamal Murray, you're going to have to start doing some soul searching. You're probably having to do that already after that performance. We're going to wait and see about 6 weeks, see what version of Jamal Murray shows up to Nuggets camp. But really, the Olympics couldn't have gone worse for him. Team Canada doesn't even medal, don't even make it to the semifinals. And in large part, because he didn't perform. Cedric in the chat, he's declining really bad. Look, there's arguments to be made for it. He was outstanding on the NBA championship run. No doubt about it. He's very good every time the Nuggets play the Lakers. Really struggled against the Timberwolves to the point that people were saying he must be injured. And now we get this performance in the Olympics. On the far other end of that, Nikola Jokic, dominant for Serbia to push them to the semifinals. 21 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, and 4 steals. Nikola Jokic and LeBron James are the only remaining players in the Olympics averaging 10 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 5 assists per game. And right now, Nikola Jokic is the odds-on favorite to be the Olympic basketball MVP. There's another day at the office, it sounds like. Nikola Jokic willing a Serbian team into the semifinals after coming back from a 24-point deficit to force overtime. He then pushes Serbia to the semifinal where they will take on Team USA. I will be dialed into that one. I will be dialed in to see if Nikola Jokic can truly overcome what is the most expensive basketball team ever put together. A combined career earnings of over $2 billion for Team USA. And I think there's a chance Nikola Jokic is good enough to just take him down himself. It's the biggest comeback in Olympic basketball history. And again, he is the odds-on favorite to win MVP. And it's him and LeBron James that are still averaging 10 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Nikola Jokic just continuing to do Nikola Jokic stuff. He'll be taking on Team USA in the semifinals. Quickly, as I'm up against the clock here, let's head to that medal count, get a quick update on where we are at. And oh boy, would you look at that. Team USA officially moving into first place in the gold medal count, leading the way with 24, 31 silver, 31 bronze, for a grand total of 86 medals. People's Republic of China, 2 back as far as the gold medal count. Australia leapfrogs France into third, now with 15 golds. But the U.S., 26 total medals ahead of the next closest. And like I said, we got Jay on the board, so we got to make sure we give a shout out. Netherlands down there at 9 with 9 gold medals, 20 total Olympic medals as they continue to make some noise. I haven't talked about the co-ed relay. I believe it was the 4x100 that the Netherlands pulled off a massive upset over Team USA. In what was one of the more impressive legs that I've seen run. Femke Bol, I was trying to find her name. 4x400. Thank you, Jay, for getting me. 4x400. Team USA was the runaway favorite. They were way out ahead heading into the final leg, and Femke Bol, Femke Bol, I'm getting the correct pronunciation. Femke Bol, who you've probably seen online. She sounds like a very famous cartoon mouse. She's got a high-pitched voice. But holy smokes, what a runner. I haven't talked about it yet on the show, and maybe we'll dive more into it tomorrow, but an outstanding run to bring Netherlands one of those 9 gold medals in the 4x400 co-ed relay, and it was outstanding. So, shout out to the Netherlands down there at 9 gold medals, 20 total medals. I think that's it. That's all we got for today. Big shout out to everyone, of course, jumping in the chat as always, hanging out with us on this Wednesday morning, hump day, August 7th. Like I said, we've got Live Moods coming up at noon. So about 90 minutes from right now, Mark Kisla of the Denver Post will be joining her from Paris to be talking a lot more about Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and the upcoming semifinal matchups as we head into the medal round for men's basketball. Guys, that's going to do it for me this morning. Big shout out to Jay, as always, running the board. My name is Jesse Montaño. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, guys. Jay will be hosting right here, Guerilla Sports Daily. Thanks so much. Have a great day. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.